Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my scrapbook process video for the cutfile crew. The cutfile crew is a group of ladies on Instagram who once a month challenge themselves to use a free cut file, and you'd be surprised how differently it's used by all the members of the group. So do check out hashtag cutfile crew on Instagram for lots of inspiration. So this month it's a Vicki Boutin free cut file that we're using called This Moment, and it's got these florals in it as well. So I've cut the title in black and some of the flowers in white and the leaves, and I've just gone through my Vicki Boutin stash looking for some papers to actually back these cut files with. So I've used the yellow for the larger flowers and a tealy blue for the smaller flowers, and an even lighter one, lighter tealy green for the leaves. So in the top right there you can see a photograph actually of Vicki Boutin. I was very lucky to meet her in 2018 when she came over to the UK to teach for a retreat company that I co-run with two lovely colleagues, and we had a fabulous time with her. I can't tell you what a lovely person she really is, and we had so much fun, and I've got two photos from that visit that I'm actually going to scrap with these cut files and her range today. So this is a piece of heavy white cardstock, and I'm just adding some watercolour paint to it just to create a mixed media background. I thought that was appropriate. I think you have to use mixed media when you think of Vicki Boutin. So I'm just starting to come in with a yellow, which I've taken inspiration from the cardigan that she's wearing in the photograph. Every time I do mixed media, I seem to come in quite timid to start with, and as the colour builds up, I get more confident to add more paint. I mean, to be honest, it's a piece of cardstock, so what really can go wrong? So in my mind, I want the main photo and the cut files to run across that mixed media area, but I'm actually going to do a little bit of journaling at the bottom of the page, so I'm trying to apply the paint in two areas. So I'm just coming in with the teal. At the moment I feel like it looks a little bit patchy. I don't want it to mix with the yellow particularly, so I'm just going to keep fiddling, keep dipping my brush in, keep adding more water. I love that spray from Tim Holtz. I think it's really good to just keep the paint moving, and I'll keep going until I like the way it looks. I do have to give it some drying time in between. I hate walking away when you're on a roll, but sometimes the paper really needs a break. So now it's dry. It's a little bit wibbly, but I can cope with that. I've taken another Vicki Boutin paper and I've cut it just a little bit bigger than the photograph so that I can mat them, and I'm now looking at how I want it all to look in position. So in the top photo you'll see Vicki Boutin and the Birds of a Feather Girls, and in the right photo that's us outside the venue where Vicki Boutin kindly taught at our weekend-long workshop. So I've got some really lovely memories of this event. So I'm taking the cut files that I backed earlier, and I'm just tucking them in where I'd like them to be around the photographs and the main title. I'm not sticking anything down at this stage. I'm just trying to make sure that I like the way it looks. I'm adding in the leaves as well with the flowers. When I stuck the flowers to the backing paper, I didn't actually stick the centres down, so that way I could actually curl up those little white like fronds, just to give a little bit more of a 3D element to the flowers. So I'm also looking at what to add at the bottom of the page, so that I'll come back to that. So I've tipped everything off. I think I'm happy. I'm now going to go down using foam and actually stick everything down. I'm not going to subject you to all of that because these things always take me a little bit of time, but I always like to be sure before I stick things into position. So here it is. I know it's still a bit wibbly, the paper, but that's okay. I've got a couple of ripped pieces of paper at the bottom with enough space to add some journaling to the grid paper, adding it over the top of the mixed media and just distressing it a little bit. I'd also run those two pieces through my sewing machine with a bit of black cotton before I stuck them down. So there's a little subtitle down there called New Adventures. I added a foam pad, and then I just talced it on the back to stop the rest of the sticky sticking to the cardstock. So I'm just trying to get that in the right position. And now I'm just looking through the embellishments from various Vicki Boutin ranges, see if there's any little bits and pieces that I would like to add in. I always find something, and here's a little camera that I'm going to add in the bottom right. Just perfect, just to, I think it evens out the black a little bit from the title and from the darkness around the photograph, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm now looking to see if there's any phrase stickers or any chipboard stickers that would go with the photographs. There's so many different bits to choose from. Once a range is no longer current, I tend to keep them all together by their designer. So I have a box with all my Vicki Boutin supplies in, and I'm not always sure which range they're from because they're all together. Some things are missing, obviously the manufacturer's strip or the packaging, but I know that it's hers, and that way I can just dig through and find things that I like. I find it's a good way for me to store stuff, and also a good way for me to start to use some of older supplies up. So I found a few stickers. One of them says my favourite people. I have to say it was an awesome time. So everything's stuck down, and I'm coming in with some Nuvo drops now. I feel like a little bit more black is needed, and I'm going to add some dots to the centres of the flowers. Apologies for my hair appearing in the screen, but I wear glasses and I needed to get a little bit closer to see what I was doing. So that's it with all the drops added, and I've added a couple of vellum butterflies as well from one of her vellum sheets. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Here are the final images. Do check out the Cutfile crew on Instagram. It's usually the last Sunday in a month that we all post together, and each month we share a different free cut file from a different designer. So do check us out, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.